Hello everyone, it's Jugman here. In this video I'm going to be going over the plugins that I've been developing for the Reds Kingdom server, because most of, if not all of you, are probably completely unfamiliar with the plugins, either due to just not being on the server in a very long time, or just haven't really looked into them when you have been. And so, the first one that I will introduce you to is the Redcraft plugin. Now, the Redcraft plugin is designed specifically for the Reds Kingdom server. It is the only one that is specifically designed for it. All the other plugins I did design specifically for the server, but I also designed them keeping in mind that I would also like to be able to use them on other servers in the future, or just on other projects in the future. But yeah, the Redcraft plugin is what adds these periodic announcements in Benny's advice. It's also what creates the gaps between chat messages, which I can't demonstrate it here, but if there's more than one player talking in chat, then whenever there is a message from one player followed by a message then another player, it'll insert a gap there, whereas messages from the same player will be right on top of each other as normal. And that's basically just to make the chat a bit more readable. The next thing that it adds is it actually removes explosion damage. So if I get a creeper and some TNT to demonstrate, instead of actually destroying the terrain, it'll just set off little fireworks, which is it never gets old for me. I always just enjoy watching that. But yeah, the next thing that Redcraft adds is the specific roles that we have on the server. So like Citizen and Knight and Lord and King. I'll get into those later. But the other thing that it adds is Show Deaths, which is in the lstuff command. That is the command for the Redcraft plugin. So if I run Show Deaths, I've died 11 times. This is my test server, so I'm the only one who's died on the server. But that command is available to anyone with the citizen rank or higher, and it will list all the deaths of everybody who is currently online. And so the next, and I believe final feature added by the Redcraft plugin is the world changing. So I'll first demonstrate with the list worlds plugin, and so it'll list all the worlds that are available. The plot and test worlds are not actual worlds on the actual server. The test world is specifically for my test server because, well, that's this world here, and so I have that specifically for my own test server. That is not available on the actual server. And the plot world was originally meant to be a thing. However, the plot plugin I couldn't get to work on the actual server, so it's just sort of there because I couldn't be bothered to remove it. But yeah, if we do the change world command, and also in here it will only list the worlds that are currently available, so that if they'll only appear in this tab completion if they are loaded onto the server. But we can type that command and it'll warn us that our inventory will be cleared. It will only clear your player inventory. Your ender chest will be untouched. You just won't be able to interact with your ender chest if you're in creative mode. And that is to basically prevent you from cheating items over from the creative world to the survival world. And so yeah, that's that whole fancy system, so that you can move between the two worlds that we have. And that is the entirety of the Redcraft plugin. Oh, wait, I'm forgetting. There is one other thing that the Redcraft plugin adds, which is really obscure, as you could tell from the fact that I completely forgot about it. Is actually one of the first things I added to it is the ability to create paths out of dirt, instead of having to wait for grass to grow onto. And it also works on Podzol as well, and I believe coarse dirt. Not entirely sure. We can try it. Oh, no, it's not. It was so long ago I've forgotten. I'll leave it as it is though. But yeah, that is the Redcraft plugin. So the next plugin up on the chopping block is the Covert Admin plugin. Now the Covert Admin plugin is really only going to make a difference for admins, and that is what admins can use to hide themselves on the server. And so we can run the incog command here, and it will put me into incognito mode. And when I'm in this mode, other players on the server will not be able to see me. I won't appear in tab. They won't be able to see me if I'm near them, even if I'm not in spectator mode. And anything I say in chat will get blocked. And it'll actually put it into that special incognito chat there so that other admins can still see it, and two admins in incognito mode can still talk to each other. And also, whenever an admin joins the server, they're automatically put into incognito mode so that you don't get the join and then immediately left message there, because that would obviously raise suspicions against anyone we're trying to investigate. And so that is the Covert Admin plugin, and that is also why you may find that some admins will just be sneaking up on you when you least expect it, because that is quite literally what they are doing. And also, another thing is we tend to forget that we are in incognito mode when we join the server, and so if you join the server and it's empty, just say hi, and we may say hi back, realize we're in incognito mode, switch out of it, and then say hi back again. You never know. Okay, so the next and final plugin is the Little Players plugin. And now, the Little Players plugin is what actually does the majority of the grunt work on the server. It is easily the largest plugin, and it is also where I am now going to get a bit more in-depth into some things I sort of just glossed over earlier, like the roles and stuff like that, and how the commands work. And so the command for the Little Players plugin is lplayer. Now, the way the command system works is if you just type in the command there and then list, or you could just leave it alone and it'll put in a list for you, and that'll show you this command category, and it'll give a description of it. And if there were any subcategories, they'd be listed here, and then it lists all the commands. As you can probably tell from there, you can then do help, and then we can look at the list command, for example. So that is how you can look up information on each individual command on your own if you ever wanted to. And another thing you'll notice down here is aliases, and I will try it on one of the actual commands so that I can demonstrate that. You gotta type it out the whole way. And so, as you can see here, the list little players command actually has an alias, which is LLP. And so, if I run the list little players command, it'll list all the players that have ever joined the server, well, at least since I added the plugins. But since that is a lot to type out, you can just do LLP, and it'll do the same thing, because whenever it sees that, it'll just convert it to that for you. So that is how aliases work, and some commands will have multiple aliases, some commands will have none, most will have at least one. And so you can just use that little help command to check those out if you want to be able to type things out quicker. However, with the tab completion, I don't see too many people needing that too frequently, but it's still there in case you want it. Alright, and so now I suppose we can get into all the other commands that are available in the Little Players plugin. So as we can see, we have the list little players, which we've already seen. We've also got view player info, give role, remove role, nickname, reset name, list roles, view role info, toggle PvP, list admin roles, and welcome message. And I'm going to show the welcome message first because if you've joined the server recently, you've already seen it. So yeah, basically this is what gets displayed to you when you first join the server. It will give you some basic information about yourself, and the reason for this is because one of the big features with the Little Players plugin is that all the information on you that the Little Players plugin deals with can be changed even if you're offline. So like your current rank can be changed if you're offline, your nickname, and also whether or not you have PvP disabled, an admin can toggle that on you. And so just so that you don't join in without realizing you've got PvP enabled. It will tell you right there, nice and handy. And yeah, and so the next thing I can probably show you is the nicknames. Oh yeah, also if you just type in the command without arguments, that will show you the help page as well, assuming that the command accepts arguments at least. And oh yeah, actually, never mind, I'm remembering things wrong. That's why. It's because since this command requires arguments and I didn't give any, it failed to execute and it displays the help information in that case. Derp of the mind. And so, yeah, one little thing to keep in mind with the arguments is that any argument with the little triangle brackets, that is a required argument, and any argument with the square brackets is optional. And so as you can see here with the nickname command, the nickname argument is required, but the player name argument is optional. What that means is that you will required to provide a nickname when you run this command, but you're not required to provide a player name. And the reason for that in this case is because if you provide a player name, then you can change another player's nickname, but if you don't provide one, then it'll just use yours by default. And so we can give it a try, and I'm going to use the alias because why not? So I'm going to nickname myself to Jog. And so there you go. My nickname has been changed to Jog. It'll say that in the tab list. It'll say it in chat. And if there was another player here, they would see it above my head as well, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure of that. Pretty sure it does. But, yeah. And also, there is the reset name button, which you can do to take away your nickname, and that'll switch you right back. Alright, so the next command that we're going to look at today is the view player info command. And so you can type in view player info, and if you don't give any arguments, again, it'll use your name by default, but I'm going to give Red's name as an example to prove to you that a player does not need to be online in order for you to view their information. And so I'll hit tab real quick to prove that he's not online, and I guess you'll have to take my word for it that he's not here in incognito. But as you can see, it shows us that his name is Red Kid, his display name is Red Kid, and so that's basically if they have a nickname, this will be their nickname, and it'll also apply their rank color. And then that will be their just bog standard vanilla name. That will tell you their rank and also whether or not they have PvP enabled. And then it'll also show you all the roles that they have. And that's the thing about the roles. The way the roles work is, if you're familiar with the roles in Discord, then you're already familiar with the way the roles here work. So basically, a player can have multiple roles, however, when it comes to their rank, so the color that they have and the authority that they have on the server is based on their role that has the highest power level. And so, for example, if I were to give the citizen role to Red, his rank would remain king because the king role has a higher authority than the citizen rank. Or role, I mean. And so, yeah, that's basically just how that works. You silly little guy. And I suppose I can also show you that you can indeed change another player's nickname, even if they're offline. So I'm going to give the Dumbo nickname to good old Red. Ah, but you see there, that is another limitation. Yes, you can only give a nickname to players of a lower rank. So that basically, like, we admins don't have to worry about you plebeians giving us nicknames that we don't approve of, but we can give you nicknames that you don't approve of all day long because we're admins and we totally do not abuse our powers. But, yeah, I'm gonna actually pick on another player. How about Squiggly? Oh, maybe, oh. Maybe if I can actually spell, but yeah, I'll set Squiggly's nickname to Squiggles, and now if we do, oh dear, maybe typing, it just doesn't work. Yeah, view player info, and then Squiggly Munchkin, and we'll see that it shows her nickname there. But then if we reset her nickname, oh, that is the remove role command. And then we view her information again, you'll see that it has changed her back. And we can also toggle PvP on people, as I mentioned earlier, but again, that is also limited to only people of a lower rank. So you don't need to worry about people toggling your PvP if you are more powerful than they are. Power to the powerful. Yes. Alright, so the next thing I'll show you is the list roles, which should be pretty self-explanatory. It just lists all the different roles that are on the server. And now you can do slash with one slash view role info, and then the role name, and that will give you information on the role. So it'll give you the name of the role as well as the color. It'll have it there. Oh yeah, actually that's another plugin I completely forgot about, as the backup plugin, but that's not really worth mentioning. It's got a description and also the authority level, the ID, which you probably will never need to know that, but it's there because there are very obscure situations in which it will be needed. And there's also the hidden tag. And now the hidden tag is important for a few reasons, because another role you'll have noticed here is the owner role. And now on the actual server, Red has both the owner role and the king role. And if we look at the owner role, its power level is a lot higher than the king role, and in fact that authority is one less than the maximum value that can be stored by an integer value. And so literally the only thing on this server that has more authority than the owner role is the server console itself, which its authority level is the maximum integer value. However, this role is hidden. And so what that means is that even though Red will have both of those two roles, and the owner role has a higher authority, his rank will be king, because the owner role is hidden and the king rank is not. And that is basically so that Red can have the higher authority of the owner role, but still have the king role as his rank. Alright, so another command that you guys would probably all be interested in is the toggle PvP command, and all you need to do is just type it out like that and it'll toggle your PvP. Quite simple, really. And also, you can type in another player's name. So let's pick on Age of the Mage real quick. It's my test server, so that's not actually toggling him on the real server, but yeah, but again, that you can only do that to people of a lower rank. But that is how the toggle PvP command works, quite simply. And then the last two commands we will have to look at is the give role and remove role, which this is only going to be important to you if you are in fact an admin on the server, because the command is inaccessible to everyone else. You can run the command, it just won't do anything, it'll yell at you instead. So yeah, let's look at the give role command. The first argument it takes is the role. So you know what? Let's give the citizen role to just a random person who doesn't deserve it. So let's see here. Dead Balboa. So yes, I've just given the citizen role to Dead Balboa. And now, of course, is the remove role, which is, it takes the exact same arguments, it's just the command itself is different. And so now I've taken the citizen role away from Dead Balboa. And this command is only accessible if you're in admin, which admins will be the knight rank and up. Which actually, another command is list admin roles, and so that'll list all the roles that have admin permission level. And so yeah, but the give and remove role commands are only accessible to admins, but even beyond that point, you can only give or remove a role that has a lower authority than your own. So since I have the Lord role, and that is my authority level, I am unable to give it to another player. because it is not lower than my current rank. And by extension, I could not give the king rank to anyone either, and I also couldn't take the king rank away from anyone. So I cannot launch a mutiny against Red, unfortunately. None of us can. He has ultimate power. But yeah, that is all the plugins and commands that you'll need to know if you're going to play on the Red's Kingdom fan server. I hope you were informed.